wraps up the presentation part. And now we have prepared, so if you have any questions or anything like that, let's go into the Q&A side and let's address and chat. I think now you can also unmute yourselves, and we're happy to spend a few minutes and chat.
Finally, we can chat.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know.
Great setup. We're doing this for the first time, like this recording, like lights. Look at this. Oh yeah, thank you. So there's plenty of things to learn. So we're open for feedback.
So yeah, I see that Kathy, you asked, how do we help? Are you encountering competition, and who are they? Andres, do you want to take that?
So asks will be typically in our shareholder update. So we want to keep those asks always on top, from product to sales. A couple of things that where we need some help is some evident is introductions to brand advertising agencies. So Martin's listed them. Names are in our previous shareholder update. From product perspective, also Kaspar's mentioned about like how can we activate these PMP deals. So it's a little bit black box. And Ari, I know you're here. Like we would love to sit down and also with you. Maybe you can help us with introductions or here and there, just to unpack this. How can we address this big monster? And are we encountering competition, and who are they? So there's legacy companies like Tapjoy, Fungal, Ad Colony. They were reacquired, grouped in multiple ways. So we're competing against them because they're legacy providers and people have bought them. Mainly, we see that those solutions have been used, they're being ads placed by game studios, not brands themselves. So they will be the main competition. You always, of course, know about in-game advertising companies like Anzu, Bidstack, and many others. There's a list of seven companies that I follow. Actually, we talk with them. They are helping us to educate the brands about gaming, the size and opportunities in gaming. Although they're putting billboards inside the game, they're static. They don't have this data capabilities that we do. I think our advantage against any of these competitions is competitors is that we have information about consumers. So when we talked with Coca-Cola leadership, they said, you know what, we can survey people, like, do you like Coke or Pepsi, and by demographic, and follow up on the targeting aspects. So this is a big opportunity for us and how we're different.
I hope that answered your question. But yeah, guys, please feel free to unmute, and yeah, now the official part is over. And we'd love to kind of hear from you, hear any thoughts, feedback, suggestions. What are we missing? Where?
So thanks, guys. First of all, for the presentation, absolutely great. I love your humor. I hope you're also bringing it to the sales meeting. So I guess that's why your sales are so good. One thing which I don't understand about the industry, so it's not exactly, I guess, a question about Monetizr, but more in general, is that, so if you're showing numbers as you are showing currently, so why don't customers just, I don't know, multiply their revenue, or let's say they're spending 10, 100,000 time, it would be no brainer, right? So if the numbers are so good, just like throw more money into it, get more customers. So what's the challenge?
Great question. And by the way, to answer regarding the vibe, what I started doing more recently, I started using like ChatGPT and other platforms to make songs about reports. So imagine you do a Monetizr campaign, and then at the end of the day, everyone sends, all the other competitors send you Excel spreadsheets as reports and things like that. Maybe someone invests into a slide deck. But in Monetizr, you get not only that, but you also get a song with your results. So that's what we're doing. That's that part. But regarding that's the question about activation and scaling up. We see that, for example, PepsiCo showed very, very good results the campaign was actually running in August, September, and beginning of October. So now our next challenge is, how do we activate them via their agency? So their agency is OMD in Chicago. So that's a slightly different buyer persona, right? So that's something we've dealt with the brand directly, and now we are dealing with the brand plus the agency. So we have to crack that nut, how to activate them through agencies. That's one example. Another example, which I think is going better from that perspective, is Terraflu and Helion. Similar thing. We did the pilot with the brand first directly, and now they involved Publicis Group, their agency, and they're already soft committing for approximately at least $1 million in 2025. So that's our. I think it just shows that over time we're just getting better at jumping in and starting the next sales cycle before the previous campaign even ends. I think that's something that we have to keep doing, and just showing good performance from the product and keeping the relationships going, meeting face to face. I think it's a cocktail of all of these components. Anything to add?
Yeah, let me add one thing that Kaspar's mentioned about programmatic enablement. Of course, the agency wants to buy it at scale, and it means that they log in the same platform, just add a new line in the Excel, and that's a purchase being made. So that was super easy for them. And that is a tough part, figuring out how this programmatic works. It's difficult because of a couple of reasons. It's measurement. They want to make sure that there's no ad fraud. But then there's so many DSPs and SSPs, providers in between. And we are in gaming. So existing solutions have been focused on web interfaces for sure, but then how to measure gaming effectively, and how we can connect to the trade desks where the Procter & Gamble or PepsiCo are buying from. And it's not that easy route. Yes, we know who they are, and I love our team that they're experts in it, but we still haven't cracked this. So we have to spend some time here and figure out what can we do to unlock the next tier revenue through programmatic.
Okay, and sorry, I didn't read your last update because I really was waiting for the call, so I was lazy. Can you maybe just very quickly also go over the numbers? So like, what's your headcount currently? So how much money in the bank? What's the runway? Because as you said, that you guys are now raising a bridge round, so I guess the runway is running out. But maybe all the numbers were in the last update. But yes, I kind of.
Yeah, let's go with that. So we're 7 people full time. So all the success which you've seen so far is last year accomplished with 7 people. I'm very happy about like how efficient we are. We're also very lean. We're also selling from Latvia to the US. So let's recognize that. It's very hard to switch these time zones. So that's tough part. We didn't mention that, but it's probably obvious. Our runway right now is until June of end of this year. So assuming that we don't generate any additional revenue, but having seen how the bookings started in February and January, we expect that September is where we're really, really out of money. And that's a tough part. Where the gap is that the pipeline is significant, but as we mentioned, it's still, we have to enable that pipeline. We have to close it. And once we close it, it means it's booked, but it doesn't mean that money is in the bank. So we have to bridge the time between when we have closed the campaign and when the brand actually is paying. So there's maybe 60 days, 90 days. So that's tough part as well to consider. So other metrics, so on finances and bookings and revenue, you saw today in the chart. So let me know if you want anything else. On gross margins, I think everything was there except employee size.
So last question from my side, like what currently, guys, brings you most joy in life? So
I think energy from people in the team. Like this chat, like when I'm seeing all of you joining in, is like it's awesome. It's great. And the same energy we feel from advertisers when we meet with them in person. They're also very curious about like, oh, what's this? How can we use this? When I was working at Omnicom, like people are asking, what's the Facebook? How can we launch ads there? And now we are driving the innovation further. They don't know how to launch campaign in gaming. So what's gaming? They know about it. They know about Fortnite campaigns, but they can't repeat them again and again. And we can be smart, but also help them to solve business problems and solutions. So that's where I'm excited to just get this energy from people. Martins, how about you?
I think the biggest one is really client meetings. Face to face, those are my favorite ones. Just like, also undershared some quotes from the PepsiCo people. I think it's just so energizing when you've built something and you've made something happen, and then like really like the executive level people are saying words like fantastic and things like that. That's just awesome. I want more of that.
I saw Matt Anthony mention that he's jumping off. Yeah. Thanks, Matt, if you're still around.
And
I had
maybe
a question.
This
might be a tag on to the prior one. Can you guys talk a little bit more about your location in Latvia? And I know that it sounded like at one point some of you were in the on the East Coast in the U.S. How that's working from a sales perspective, a team perspective, and also a fundraising perspective. How people view the company and how it's all working out.
So when we are traveling to Cannes, it's easy. So it's most cheapest conference we've been to and the cheapest customer acquisition cost for us. But when we need to the brands in the US, what we do, we land one meeting and then we land multiple meetings around that area, and then we travel when we need to. So we're trying to be lean, but in the board meeting today we discussed actually we have to travel more often. We believe that can reduce the sales cycle if we meet them in person. Yes, we are sending emails, open rates are good, we're having a chats, but it's different energy when you meet people in person. So what we have to change in the next 12 months, if we think back, look forward, we have to travel at least once per month and be with the customers in their meetings, and that will help us to close. Latvian-wise, like the country is full of energy. There's much talent here. So when we need to start scaling, we believe we have the right resources over here. But at some point, Martins is planning to relocate to the US when we are ready for that. And maybe you can comment on that. Let me allow you to speak about it.
No, I mean, I think you pretty much said it all. I think it's just, well, if we do those face-to-face meetings once a month or so, and then we can pick our where we go, and then cover many meetings. That's what we've been doing, and that works. But I do believe, like we discussed today in the board meeting, that it can be more successful if we just increase the intensity of face-to-face, especially when we talk about agencies and enterprises. But other than that, I think, yeah, I mean, the talent regarding here and the community here, the talent pool is here, so it's much cheaper to hire here versus in the States. Yeah, I think the only part which we should focus more on and be in person is the sales side. I think that's the biggest one.
Alex asked about the metrics. I forgot about key metric, a burn. Our current burn is 58K on a monthly basis. That was in December. So I think it's okay, decent, but that's gross burn. So net burn would be smaller. I can follow up with the metrics, Alex, and then so you can see the details.
On the location, does that impact your source of funding? Are you looking at European sources or more East Coast US as opposed to Silicon Valley when you think about future funding rounds or the current ones?
Currently, we think about funding that inner circle is the best because people know who we are and they can see and follow our success. What we said we've delivered. If we think about next rounds, recently we talked with well-known firms, globally well-known firms who are coming from Europe, like Atomico and some others. So of course we have to be ready for Series A. And what we know is we can travel easily, and global investors are thinking and looking for the best companies, not about location. Maybe it's more for angel investors, and maybe we don't know something, but definitely we can travel and meet investors who are excited about building gaming as a category. So that's the most powerful and most important for us, to find the right investors who are passionate about this. And I heard the two questions coming in, and one was from George, and other I didn't overhear.
I think Kathy.
I wanted to first of all congratulate you. All these years later, still 7 people. You guys are scrappy, tenacious. Congratulations. Two things I have questions on. The first one is, since we were talking about funding, I'm curious how much you want to raise, and if you mentioned Lucas Ventures, if you have lead investors, number one, what are the terms you're thinking about, and so on. So that's the fundraising side. The other side is, it's been my impression, I was engaged with a media company for about a year last year, and I learned a lot. The words programmatic, for example, and DSP and what that all means. DSP used to be digital signal processor for me.
It still is. It still is. Sometimes, like, especially when you talk to people like at Apple or like those companies that actually have DSP stuff, then it's tricky what you're talking about.
So my impression, okay, is that brands engage with agencies and the pipeline is there. That is, all of their ads get pushed out by their agencies. They just like push the button. And that's the key, right? Pushing the button, being in that flow. And it strikes me that you haven't been in the flow because you were still selling directly to the brands. Should I interpret that to mean that really they were still just piloting with you? And hence the long sales cycle and the periodic, right, campaigns instead of the streamlined, continuous flow. Can you just comment on that, please?
Yeah. So I hear two questions. Let me answer about fundraising in terms, and you take the personas. On fundraising, we just talked with the board that we need to raise additional funding. How much? We're estimating between 6 to 1.2. That's 600,000 to 1.2 roughly. But we have to do some calculations on which channels should we double down on. How can we aggressively close the deals that are closer to end of the pipe. So we're going to follow through and chat with them about the opportunities. So who's interested to follow through is our previous lead investor, and they will set the terms with the Ludus Ventures. So Change Ventures and Ludus Ventures would be the ones that want to sit down and then talk about and evaluate.
I met Sarah Lucas through that engagement. So if I can put in a good word, let me know.
I would love that. Thank you.
And regarding your other question about the flow and programmatic, so I think like Kaspar's already mentioned that previously when we talked about the product, is that that programmatic flow is something that is that's what we're tackling right now from a technical point of view, from an integration point of view, because the difficulty there, like on a high level, yes, when we have this direct connection with the brand, like they say, yes, this was great, we love the results, and now their agency gets involved, and yes, you're right, the easiest way for them to plug us in, and that's how we got the Apple first deal. That's what PepsiCo is talking about. That's what TerraFlu is talking about. Those would be programmatic activations. From a sales perspective, those are easier to close. From a delivery perspective, they require additional like integrations that we are currently working on. So the DSP platforms that you mentioned, for example, P&G in the US market, they use the Trade Desk. In European markets, P&G uses DV360. L'Oreal uses DV360. So a Publicis Group in Europe uses Adform. So there's plenty of these DSP platforms. Obviously, Trade Desk and DV360 are the biggest ones. So we have to find a way, like that's our challenge from a technical point of view, how to connect the pipes with those platforms more effectively. And if anyone from you guys can help with any connections, introductions into people who, I don't know, either at DSPs or SSPs or anywhere in that pipe, that whole flow, who know how it's built and have connections, that would be very much appreciated because that will help us activate these deals faster.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Both questions.
And by the way, we have team members jumping in, so in case we need, we can ask them to jump in. So Kaspar's MJ, and then feel free to mention.
Yeah.
Casper's is waiting over there. It's like,
I know.
When can I move? Any other questions?
Raise 1.2.
1.2. Thank you.
Over 600 is not worth the effort.
1.5.
It's an auction.
Then maybe let me ask questions to Martin, since
Yes, go ahead.
That could trigger some thoughts from your side. When we are speaking to European or international agencies, what personas are we talking to? So there's innovation roles, there's media buyer roles, there's programmatic roles. Which seem most promising, and where do you believe that within the next 12 months, which agencies we can close faster, and how can we integrate with these agencies?
So on the agency side, we're typically talking to the account directors and then media planners and media buyers. That's both in the States and European markets. These are the roles that we can meet in Cannes Festival, in DigiDay events, in like the industry events. So those are the key personas, I would say. And by the way, I see Ari, you wrote in the chat that you wrote an article on this challenge. Actually, I read that, and I really love your podcast that your the Marketecture podcast. I started listening to it maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, and it's great. So thanks so much for sharing, making it very interesting to listen about these kind of topics that are technically very complicated, but that I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. The article is kind of talks about your challenge if you want to integrate with the DSPs. The one thing I'll say is people ask me all the time for like introductions to the people at the DSP who want to do the integrations, and they are overwhelmed and really don't want more integrations. So it's challenging. Like, the guy, Matt Clark, who runs it at Freewheel and Beeswax, he's a friend of mine. He told me, just don't introduce anyone to me under any circumstances. So you got to get the customer to push it.
So that's actually that's exactly how we got connected to the Trade Desk in the first place. That was a push by Procter and Gamble. They connected us with the head of gaming at Trade Desk, and also their the main account manager for P&G at Trade Desk was instrumental there. It's just at least with Trade Desk we have the connections. From a people perspective, we don't have those in like DV360 or Adform yet, but yeah, I mean, and maybe Kaspers, you can jump in here. What maybe someone like Ari? What's the thing that someone like Ari, who knows this industry, I think probably the best out of all of us, how can Ari help with the PMP challenges?
I'll take this mic because of the echo. Our strategy with the DSPs are basically we are starting to work with those who are ready and will accept us. And are happy to work on integration. So even if they are smaller, we will work with those first, and then we hope to prove by this that if we integrate with more and more of them, then we hope to get to the larger ones as well, and create interest in one way like that. And the second part is there are ways how we can make PMPs work even without the direct integration. And once we have critical amount from one DSP, that's when we are saying to them, see, we have a proof of your clients, and this should be the purpose why we are integrating. So Ari, definitely taking your advice there, not trying to go to the big players with only our need or only our want, but also gathering data and actually financial interest from their clients to say, this is the reason why we need to do this, and this is why it will be beneficial for both of us. So yeah, thanks for that advice and that article. Consuming that your media a lot.
Great to hear. Thanks for the plug.
Okay, we have 5 minutes. Any last questions, notes to mention? if not, like, hey, we can round up. We'll record this and follow up and send the link to this, and you can ask any questions later, and we're always available over email. Martins, any last thoughts about the Landslice app?
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that. So again, I think I have to invite Kaspars to share the slide. No?
I think it should be there.
Oh, the slide. Can we put up the slide there? I think the last slide.
2 slides further.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because if you want to download some of our, this slide. If you want to download and play around with the Monetizr experience yourself, then these are the QR codes for both iOS and Android versions of a demo app, so you can definitely check it out. So I think the default experience is going to be tied, right?
Yes, the same you showed.
Yeah, so that's going to be the same experience that I showed. And again, this is maybe just so you know. So this the video experience is our most simple product that we sell. It's something that all brands already have the assets for, so they don't have to create new production to essentially facilitate new assets. But we also have additional formats there that you'll be able to check out. So excited. Please give us feedback.
Nice. With that said, any last words?
Any last words from you?
From us? So if you like this, please let us know if any feedback. And I love this format, so let's do this next time again, maybe in 6 months, so we can keep you up to date on how the progress has been done since.
This is great. You have lights, you have camera direction, you have your label. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Like this is, it feels so serious, like with the microphones like this. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Also, let us know if you're in any of our regions here in the U.S., like Silicon Valley, so we can meet in person and tap it on to any of your other meetings.
Yeah, we're coming to various places every now and then, so we'll definitely keep you posted. And again, face-to-face meetings as much as possible. We'll love to catch up.
Well, with this, thanks so much for jumping in. Have a great rest of the day. And today's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.